A number of things. First of all, Kentucky was terrific tonight, very explosive. We couldn't really defend them anyway. Their size, athletic ability, shooting ability, they shoot 42% from three, 59% overall, and we just couldn't guard them. I thought the first team to 80 would win, but we didn't score. We played totally out of character on offense, and that impacted our defense, which unfortunately is a weakness of ours. And some of it I thought had to do with a little bit of foul trouble and the frustration our guys felt because they were sitting on the bench anxious to get back in when Norshad O'Meara only plays 8 minutes in the first half and Bensley Joseph plays only 6 minutes in the first half. And that's two of our really critical guys, Bensley defensively and Norshad and everything, especially rebounding. So credit to them, and we're going to have to go back to Miami and get ready for our next one.
If you have questions, raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you.
Jim, at the start, you mentioned about the difficulties of trying to contain Kentucky's offense. Just where do you think that went wrong for you guys tonight?
Well, it's the same issue we've had in our first 5 games too, but we were able to outscore the opponent. We really, we're not very tall, as you can tell. I think they probably 3 or 4 inches at the point guard position, 5 or 6 inches at the 2 guard spot, 3 or 4 inches at the 3, 2 or 3 inches at the 4, and 5 inches at the 5. I mean, we're small, which means that we must play very good offense and score the ball regularly, and then really try to help each other defensively. And we didn't do either. We didn't score the ball well enough, and we didn't guard them at all.
How difficult is it to counter when they can bring in 2 guys like Reed Shepherd and Rob Dillingham, and they're coming in off the bench in that first 3 or 4 minutes and give them a little bit different look?
You think those guys are pretty good? I'd say those 2 guys are, Reed ended up starting in the second half. I mean, those 2 NBA guys, I mean, they're terrific college players, but they'll play beyond for sure. They can shoot it, they handle it, they defend it, they share it extremely well. And I think that's what's impressive about Kentucky's offense is how well they share the ball. They had 26 assists. We had 8. It's not a good stat for us.
Yeah, kind of bouncing off that, just a little bit more on Reed and his night tonight. What really just makes him so difficult to stop offensively?
He's so good at everything. I mean, he can shoot it, he can handle it, he can pass it, and he finds the open man great, and he defends. You might look at him and think that, okay, he's not that athletic, but you try to score on him. He's moving his feet and using his hands and doing a great job at the defensive end of the floor as well. He comes up with a lot of deflections and steals. He had 4 assists and 1 turnover, and then Dillingham had 9 assists and no turnovers. That's a pretty good night from your bench. They don't start.
Jim, you mentioned you guys were kind of out of character offensively. Well, what did Kentucky do, if anything, to kind of take Nigel Pack out of a rhythm after having 28 his last time out?
It wasn't Nigel Pack. It was our team. I think the hype of the game and the crowd, our guys wanted to play well individually. Hey, I want to have a good game. And as a result, you can't win individually. Kentucky showed us that's the facts. You got to share the ball and find the open man and get assists. That's what they did. That's what we didn't do.
You talked a little about there about the crowd and the guys wanting to play, but when you're trying, you mentioned you're already struggling on defense. But how hard is it to keep Kentucky down when the crowd was that loud?
Say it again.
How hard was it to keep Kentucky down when the crowd was that loud every time they would seem to do anything?
Well, we didn't figure out a way to do it. I don't know how many teams will when they come here. But I watch their other games, and there are times like in the St. Joe game, St. Joe was able to score with them, take the game into overtime, and play really, really well. But there'll be teams like that, but especially if you're big enough. We couldn't keep them out of the lane. I don't know what they shot on layups and dunks, but far more than we've given up in years.
Anyone else?
Jim, you've known John Calipari for a long time, and he's kind of admitted to all of us that he's changed his system. He's playing this random style of basketball.
He's what?
He's changed his system, playing this random style of basketball. How hard is it for a head coach to kind of change philosophies and just kind of flip the switch like that?
Well, I was looking at the game notes, and this was before the game, and I read the list of NBA players that he has, that he's coached here, all these NBA All-Stars and stuff. So I would say this: Cal could change his style every year, but it's going to work because he's got so many terrific players that, the players make the coach. I mean, you have as many good players as he has, he's going to have a lot of success. If you don't have very good players, you're going to struggle. I'm fortunate in my years at Miami, we've had a lot of good players and have been able to compete at a high level. But he's got that kind of talent every year.
Anyone else? Okay.
I just want to ask, is this a game, are you able to take a lot from it in terms of what you need to get better at, or is this one where you just basically burn the film immediately and move on?
No, we've got to learn from it. We've got to understand what we did and what we didn't do. But, one thing I told the team beforehand, I was a little surprised. The crowd is great, so my hat's off to them. But they booed me. They booed me before the game. What did I do to deserve that? That's the first time I've ever been booed. So tell them, be polite. Teams are going to come in here. You're going to kick their butt. You're going to boo them like they're bad people? No. They're nice people. We're nice. See ya.
Coach, after last game, you said you wanted to see how this team finished tonight. When you were playing Kansas, that kind of lost a lead, and then what was different tonight to make them kind of step on the gas?
The only thing I did was we played it like it was an 8-point finish, and what we wanted to do is keep shortening the game and make baskets. We're still not quite there. We didn't finish off. We got too late in the shot clock. Some of them you want to go and shoot it and rebound it, and you kick it out and you go again, and now you just used a minute off the clock. They don't have a chance to beat you. We hadn't worked on any of that with Kansas. I was just trying to get them to be a basketball team, pass to each other. So we really didn't. Now we're beginning to. I'm trying to put guys in situations in these kind of games and see how they play. We still had some breakdowns. Discipline. You can't just do what you want to do. We're a team. There was a game plan, stick with it. And we kind of got out of it, but to be honest with you, the way we run and fly up and down the court, I don't know if you can remember some past years where I'm just yelling, go, go. You could hear me through the TV because that's how I wanted us to play. But to play that way, you got to run. And it can't be me telling you to run. Just run. And there was good stuff today. I did not see DJ, but I think they said his ankle. He wasn't going to come back, so we were really shorthanded. But a good game against a good team. We defensively, we were saying make the three hard, make them take tough twos. They can beat you with threes, and they also beat you if you turn it over, because they unbelievably finish at the rim. And we just didn't turn it over that much.
John, what did you see in Reed maybe during his recruitment or even in Toronto that maybe indicated that he'd be able to have this kind of impact this early in his career? My best players that I've coached, and I've coached NBA MVPs,
those players are even keel. Now, they'll get emotional about a play, but they're never up and down. Those guys, they just are like that, and that's how he is. Now, I was just with Chip Rupp. The Rupp family has been unbelievable to me. Chip and his son Brad, they grew up together, so I saw him last night. And he said, I watched Reed as a 9th grader, 10th grader, 11th grader, 12th grader, and everybody's talking to me like he's a knockdown shooter. He was never a knockdown shooter. When I saw him, you know what he's done? He lives in that gym, he works, and he's made himself, kind of like Shea and some of these other kids that I've had, they build their own confidence. It's not me saying you're great or you're bad or, it's them. But I always saw his ability to have a feel for passing, his hands. I'm not joking when I say this. That's Stacy's. That's who that is. Jeff wasn't that way. Stacy was that way. And, you just see him get his hands on balls. But again, he had about 5 breakdowns today that were disciplined. He just, why'd you try to steal that? Why are you leaving your feet? We're not playing that way. But he's young. He's young. I don't know. His plus minus was probably off the charts again.
30.
Yeah, 35. So, but it was good. I mean, we didn't take as many threes, and I know some people will be so mad because they're telling me how to coach and we need to take 35 threes and he doesn't listen and all that stuff. There are games you're going to take more and there are games you're going to take less. Just how it is.
Yeah, John, I've always thought overrated was about the dumbest cheer ever. I know you had to get after the student section late in the game because that's what they were doing.
Our fans are the best. Our students are the best. But I just, that kind of stuff I've never been, we get it everywhere we go. And sometimes we got some coaches that would encourage that. I just don't, they don't deserve that. They're young kids. Let them, we may end up playing them again. Then all of a sudden, that's living with them. So, no, I just said don't do it. And how about the fans? They responded and just stopped. That's how good a group that we have.
Cal, similar along those lines in the past, you've talked about saying to your players, I want you to be a team that people love watching play. It seems like the reaction, people love watching this team play. What is that interplay? How important is that, sort of how the players maybe feed off of a fan base that's kind of anticipating?
I don't think they do. I think they're into each other and they really like each other.
You guys, against Kansas, got off to that hot start in the second half, then let it go, and you talked about learning how to finish. You guys kept it on the gas.
How about we were up, and then all of a sudden I look and we're down. I call a timeout, and then we're up 5 at halftime, which was the Kansas score.
Right.
But I'm just, to play as fast as we play, it's not just what it does for us, it's what it does to an opponent. And especially, Jim's like I am. He's just not playing a whole lot of guys. He was riding those guys. And now all of a sudden in that second half, that's when it hits. But, I thought, again, we passed to each other, 26 assists. I love the one where Robert got it and threw it right back to Reed, and then Reed hits. Come on. People aren't holding the ball. They're getting rid of it, so it's good stuff.
Cal, another super assist to turnover ratio for you guys tonight as well.
When you have players that can dribble, pass, and shoot, like Shea Alexander said, you play this way. And you won't turn it over that much. We only had 3 at halftime. And Adu had 2 that were easy. What did you just do? Why didn't you look at him and throw it underhand to him? You rocketed up. And the other one you threw, or we'd have had 1 at halftime. In the speed of that game, now think about that. How fast we're playing. Pretty good stuff.
I was going to say, on that note, just also, what's the confidence level in this team being able to continue that even in fast-paced track meet games like tonight was at times?
This is how we play. And again, I'd say this, and I know I'm not, every team I've coached, I've had to coach different. If I tried to play this way last year, why are you laughing? We got people laughing. I couldn't have played this way. Who we had? Now, I'm not saying they're not good players. Oscar's getting 30 rebounds a game in there, but he's not Trey. Trey's not him. I wish Trey rebounded a few more balls, but you can't play this way if the guys aren't good with the ball and confident three-point shooters. So we've had three guards when we had Maxey and Quickly and Johnny Juzang and Ashton. I mean, we played that way, but we didn't have a five like Trey. We had Nick Richards. So he is more of a rim runner and a shot blocker. But I'm anxious to get a couple of the bigs back. And the people that come in my gym, we got people that have never walked in my gym that are giving their opinions of what these big kids are or when or why or this or rumors or I don't get it. I mean, I really don't understand it. Like Aaron, the guys on TV watched it today and yesterday, watched them. So I'm hoping he plays Saturday. But what if he doesn't? Was I lying? No, I just think he will play Saturday. If he doesn't, he'll play the next Saturday. Z finally did not practice today, got sick. I don't think he's telling the truth. I am telling the truth. Had 104 fever. Isn't it going to be fun when we get these guys back? How about we talk that way? So it is what it is. Listen, appreciate y'all. I got to go do this radio. This is a half hour later for my body than normal. So I got to get home. So let me go do this radio. Appreciate it.